Robert, darling, what is that ghastly noise?
Oh, don't worry, dear. It's just Robert Jr. with his new toy.
Cheers, Daddy! Nice truck!
Welcome to the Scrapheap Challenge final. The stakes are high as the two top teams go head-to-head building madcap machines from our sea of scrap. Each of them desperate to win this, the Scrapheap Challenge Champions Cup.
And this week, our teams must don their water wings as they dream up designs for wheeled vehicles that can race across this watery swamp at breakneck speeds.
Now technology is much slicker and faster, allowing the racers to achieve breakneck speeds through perilous swamps. So who are the teams that are going to be slugging it out in the mud and sludge to win the Champions Cup?
Our first finalists are a bunch of surfing clowns from Torquay. These guys are born jokers. Leading the merry men is Captain Andy. His scavenging sidekicks are Gilly and the butt of the bum's jokes, Simon. Laughing their way to the top, it's the Beach Bums.
Their fellow finalists are a trio of police dog handlers from Newcastle. Not only are these guys the strong arm of the law, they're not half bad under a bonnet either. Taking the lead is Captain Simon, and joining him for walkies are scavengers Neil and Jeff, hoping to be today's top dogs, their Woof Justice. Welcome, teams, to the Scrapheap Challenge final. You are just one step away from winning this, the Scrapheap Challenge Champions Cup. Yay! But in order to get your hands on this, you must build high-speed swamp races.
Oh, yes, teams, but it's not only the cup that's up for grabs. This week's winners will meet last year's winners, the mighty powerlifters, in next week's grand final. But you only have 10 hours to complete your build, so go on the sound of the gong.
You know the drill, teams. Wait for it, wait for it.
Steady, go!
Right, does anybody know anything about swamp races?
No.
Got any ideas?
Well, first things, mate, to improve our chances.
No, Andy, I've got loads of good ideas, mate.
You
We
reckon?
could probably
You can just hold his hands for me, mate.
You know it's been a bit. Well, obviously we're looking at land-based, which maybe is a boat of some description to keep it up out of the water.
Lots of ground clearance,
Yep.
big engine.
Yeah.
Whatever we're going to do, it's going to have massive wheels, isn't it? No, it won't have to have an engine that size.
It's going to be a hell of a speed we're going to hit the water.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There's no point getting here to lose.
Nope, we're not here to lose, mate. We're here to get them powerlifters for next time, definitely.
We are going to get minging here, aren't we? Get soaking wet.
With our teams high on enthusiasm but low on know-how, it's time to offer some expert help.
Making sure the beach bums don't get stuck in the mud is a man who thinks big is best. He's a drag racer and monster truck showman. He is Michael Murty.
Hi guys.
Salvation.
Hi. Good to meet you. What ideas have you come up with so far?
A rubbish drawing.
Okay. What we're going to try to do is almost the impossible and achieve the golden speed to go across the top of the water.
No
Now, I don't know if
way.
you guys have seen this before, but we need to get somewhere in the region of 60 to 70 miles an hour.
Are you taking the mick?
No. And we're going to try to achieve four-wheel drive, okay?
Right, Murty.
That's enough from you.
The Beach Bums plan to combine a 4x4 truck chassis with a brutish engine and wide wheels. If all goes to plan, they'll reach an amazing 70 miles an hour, skimming across the water. Failure to reach that critical speed, and they'll get that sinking feeling.
Will there be a toilet on board?
You won't need that. No.
Okay.
You won't need that.
Guiding Woof Justice through the swamp is a man who races Land Rovers in some of the world's toughest terrain. He's a scrap heap veteran, having built a mud monster and an ice racer. His name is Richard Hopkins.
Hello. Hello, Richard.
What we got then?
This is our idea.
This is what's the swamp racer?
This is the idea that we've had, like a boat-type hull to lift the front end out of the water. Biggest wheels as we possibly can.
Tin wins.
You know what they use on crops, sprayers, or you know them.
That's better because that'll go through. That'll cut through the water.
Yeah.
We'll go with that then. That's what we'll build.
Team and expert have hit it off immediately. How nice.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Like their opponents, Wolf Justice's design relies on a powerful engine, but that's where the similarities end. They want to build their own lightweight chassis from scratch and add tall, skinny tyres. In theory, these will reduce the drag, allowing them to slice through the swamp. But if those wheels don't have good grip, they could end up stuck in the mud.
So we need a shopping list. How and get a crack
List
on.
first. 4x4. Like Murty says, biggest, widest you can find.
Big engine.
V something.
8.
V12. Whatever we can find.
With an automatic gearbox.
Wheels.
Big wheels.
Box section or tube, anything.
If you're a good boy, I'll take this off. I've done the toilet.
Crack on.
you
Good.
Cheers, mate.
With the glory of being this year's champions at stake,
Come on, girls. Come on, mate. Come on.
our teams hoot out onto the heap. Water-loving beach bums and their expert Murty have a crazy plan to drive on top of the water, using massive wide tyres on their monster swampster. To achieve this miracle, they need to reach 70 miles an hour, so they're on the hunt for a massive engine. Dog lovers Wolf Justice and their expert Richard plan to cut through the water using skinny tall tyres in their swamp slicer.
They're racing the bums to find the meatiest engines on the heap. And Wolf Justice scavenger Jeff has picked up the scent of a big cat.
Jeff to Simon.
Go on, Jeff.
Found a huge jag here.
Yeah, what is it?
V12 automatic.
Keys are always under the sun visor, man.
Oh, there you are. Look,
That's where I always leave mine.
I found some keys, Simon.
Oh, this just gets better and better. Exactly what we wanted.
Right, we'll see if it runs, eh?
That engine should be perfect for their skinny-wheeled racer.
Excellent. This might go a little bit.
That looks like a big old Yankee beast.
Oh, yeah.
The scavenging bums are not far behind. They've just stumbled across a rusty American classic,
You take this one, that.
a Chevrolet Camaro.
We just found a big Yankee motor, mate.
Definitely V8, a Camaro or something like that, mate.
That's the one. Tell him to get that back.
Okay, mate, sit in it.
Don't let anyone else have that, even if some dog handlers come over.
Even if they come over with some poodles, they're not having it, mate.
Beachies! Hey, you
Hello,
were
Lise.
sorted. It's a scrappy final.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
can't
the-
believe it.
Do you think you got there on good luck or great engineering skills?
No, we've just sort of, from the first show, I think we've got a little bit better.
Yeah, I
but,
think our engineering prowess has come on leaps and bounds since we've been here.
You still feeling the will to win though?
oh, Yeah,
absolutely.
there's no point getting here if you're
We've
not
got a
gonna
fire
win
burning inside now, so we're going to win now.
it. You were better when you were taped up, Chris.
Yeah, I was, wasn't I? You're gonna take me up later again.
The fire burning inside the beach bums.
And it's that burning desire to win that's got the beach bums into this final.
Oh no, enjoy it.
These guys may seem like a bunch of comedians, but in reality, they're a class act. First time round, they built a flying human cannonball. Lady Luck smiled on them when a gust of wind sealed their win. And when they constructed an airboat, their hopes were almost sunk before they steamed to victory. But it was in the semi-final when they built what must be one of the most successful scrap heap machines ever. An incredible earth-moving monster that scooped up and loaded over 4 tons of soil and gravel.
Beauty, mate, beauty.
How lucky was that?
Yeah, sounds nice, doesn't it?
How's it going out there?
You stick your head out.
Workshop bay, mate. We'll give it a bit of beans and you can hear it, okay?
Go on then, mate, give it some.
Crimpy, give it some.
Tell him not to hurt it.
That sounds ace, Alf. There was a little bit of a misfire, though, I noticed. Is that because it's on choke, or is that
No,
because
that's because it was revving at about 8 grand.
And it doesn't like that?
No, they're only meant to rev to 6.
Oh, right. So, have we got another one out there somewhere we can have?
Hope so.
Oh, no!
It looks like the bum's enthusiasm might have blown a gasket.
Classic, isn't it? That is.
Woof Justice have taken the lead and got their cat purring all the way home. With over 5 litres of throbbing V12 back in their build bay, the Woofs have their noses out in front.
Does it try?
The battery's flat. Battery just went flat. I've had it running.
Oh, you have?
Oh, look at that.
Whilst Captain Simon and expert Richard start the ultra-complicated task of extricating that engine,
Jeff!
Scavenger Neil has discovered some row-crop tractor wheels that could be just right for their swamp slicer.
Ready?
Oh, that looks heavy, guys. That does look heavy.
Come on,
Does
then.
it look heavy?
Oh, have I got to help?
Yes.
Oh, that's so unfair.
You have the clean bit.
Oh, yes! Blimey. That is ridiculously heavy.
I didn't think it would be that bad.
So, I mean, is this type of tyre choice rather than necessity? I mean, you sort of thought, let's go for something narrower.
A narrower tyre should cut through the water better, and then it'll cut into any silt or dirt or mud underneath.
Right.
That's the theory.
And it's Woof Justice's theories that have stood up to the test so far this series. In their first appearance, the canny canine coppers showed great adaptability when they overcame the tricky challenge of building a mobile mechanical mortar. In the test, they showed off their physical prowess, making the busboys eat dirt. In the semi-final, they were challenged to build a drag sled. On test day, they demonstrated guts and determination, clocking the fastest times to take the gold. While Doggy Rosaneel struggles to get that skinny but heavy tractor wheel back to the build bay,
The bum scavengers, Gilly and Simon, have abandoned the Camaro in favour of keeping up with the Joneses. They've stumbled across some giant quarry truck wheels, but at half a tonne each are surely just too big.
both teams are on a roll, but getting these big beasts back is a really hard task.
Come on, you beach bums!
Come on, that's the sort of wheel.
The wheels of Woof Justice will give them massive ground clearance.
You ain't even got a sweat on.
But their huge diameter creates a gearing problem. Because the tractor wheels are 3 times bigger than the 150 miles per hour Jag's original wheels, they'll cover 3 times more distance in one rotation. Or, in other words, the Woofs will raise the gearing by 3 times, giving the car an incredible theoretical top speed of 450 miles an hour. But that's no use to them in the swamp. What they need is much lower gearing to give them the grunt to get through that mud and sludge. After a good long search, the scavenging Woofs finally find a Range Rover gearbox with a 4-to-1 reduction ratio that'll give them the low gears they need. But in the build bay, dog lover Captain Simon has bitten off more cat than he can chew.
He said, as he thought it was going to be easy.
The Jag they've chosen is legendary for its complicated electrics. Releasing that monster is going to take ages.
Come on, you little tinker.
Teams, you have 8 hours remaining in this, the Scrapheap Challenge final. 8 hours.
I was hoping we were going to be
build time
further
remaining.
on than
Thank
this, mate, in 8 hours.
This is a hell of a job, mate.
Will you bring me some bits?
Hurry up!
Time doesn't seem to be an issue for the scavenging bums. They've lost interest in the stricken Camaro and turned their attention to an old army truck that's been on the heap for years and must weigh at least 8 tons.
This is not looking good.
Try religion.
But the balmy bums think that chunky 4-wheel drive chassis is just the job for their huge quarry truck wheels.
Lads, what are you doing? We really need stuff, mate. We've got one wheel in here and that is it. It's just so soul-destroying.
Just working on this Bedford now, mate, and we'll have this, try and get this Bedford back for you, and we'll sort like 10, 15 minutes, all right?
Can you speak to your surfboard, saying, mate?
No, I can't find the surfboard.
Come on, Crimper.
Higher up.
Hey! I'm starting to lose my sense of humour a bit because we cannot lose 2 hours of
With one
standing
wheel,
around
mate.
looking at one wheel.
It's no surprise nerves are starting to fray because building a vehicle that can drive on land and through water is a ridiculously hard task. And who better to judge such a challenge than the man who's turned off-roading into a science? He's a scrap heap veteran with a doctorate in automotive engineering. As an expert, he helped build a walking machine and judged on last year's final when the powerlifters won with this amazing rock crawler. He is Dr. James Brighton.
Oh, morning, James. Thank goodness you're here.
Hello.
Thank goodness you're here, because you might know what's going on. This is scary.
It's an awesome challenge that they've got in front of them. Big, powerful vehicles, big wheels, big chassis. I mean, it's a huge build for both teams.
Don't look so up at yourselves.
Now, the beach bums have managed to drag the huge army truck into their build bay.
Yeah, they want to use the chassis and the drivetrain underneath.
Right.
So they'll take out the engine that's in it and then put the Camaro engine in that they've found,
Right.
the V8, and try and marry the two together.
Right, you can go straight back out. Get that Camaro in as quick as possible, all right? And stop you mucking around.
We'll be back in a minute.
The key thing is they don't have to spend time aligning all the components.
No, that's
and
true.
that's really the part that wastes the time when
Yeah.
you're trying to build something.
Which is what the Wolf Justice have to do that. Then they're
Exactly.
building from
They've
from
got
the
to
ground
place
up,
their
haven't
engine, the transmission, transfer case if they have one to lower the ratio,
Right.
both axles, and they've got to locate all those onto a chassis, which
Yeah.
they also have to make. So
Yes.
it's quite a considerable
they?
build.
They are effectively building a vehicle from scratch,
Yes.
aren't they? From
Yeah.
various components.
There's another pipe on the bottom of here, man.
But I mean, from the logical layperson's brain, to build something that's got to go through deep mud and water, the Wolf Justice approach makes more logical sense because they've got some really big tractor
Yeah,
wheels.
certainly.
So that's going to that can go in deep and they'll find a bit of grip on the bottom and carry on.
Exactly.
The floating across the water in what looks like it could be a 3 or 4 ton vehicle
Yeah.
doesn't quite.
It's a slightly more wacky approach.
It's
I
a
think.
bigger leap of the imagination.
It certainly is.
On the heap, Wolf Scavenger Neil is fighting to release a front axle from a transit. They think it could provide steering for their skinny-wheeled racer. But steering will be purely academic if that V12 Jag engine isn't freed and mounted. So with dogged determination, Captain and Expert launch a frenzied attack on the big old cat.
What are you doing, man? This has still got to run afterwards, you know?
At least Captain Simon has got an engine.
Yeah.
Next door, bums expert Murty is not only engineless, but has realised that the antique army truck is missing some vital components.
Not only are there no prop shafts, but there's no universal joints either, which are pretty unique to the vehicle. There's a lot of stuff to make there.
OK, Starsky.
Out on the heap and blissfully unaware of their expert's stress,
Bo and Luke, or we Starsky and Starsky?
the scavengers have managed to fire up the Camaro and are living out a 70s TV fantasy.
Let's go. That is style. OK, Starsky. All right. Try me like you stole it, mate. It's the only way.
Oh, you got white walls?
Yeah, we had to have the white walls.
Oh, brilliant.
With a chassis and an engine, the bums are in 7th heaven, but their playful attitude is starting to get to hard-working Murty.
To be honest with you, I think we are actually having a little bit too much fun and not taking it quite seriously enough. But there you go.
You look like Hasselhoff in that car. Then
The Hoff.
You look like the
Just
Hoff.
call him Hoff, no hassle.
Right.
Right, prop shafts. Get yourselves back out there. Don't worry about the wheels for now.
Right.
If we don't get props, we've got no drive, we've got no machine.
Right, what's he need? Very bit of a taskmaster, mate, isn't he?
At last, expert Murty and Captain Andy have got something to take their frustration out on.
That's the fella.
Keen to get back in Murty's good books, the scavengers have found one of the 3 prop shafts they need to give them 4-wheel drive. And then it's all hands on deck releasing the cab.
No pressure, no pressure.
As the cab comes off, you can see the heavy-duty army chassis. Can the bums really expect this weighty monstrosity to drive on top of the water?
Believe it or not, driving on water is possible. And in Iceland, they do just that. After hitting the water at speed, their 800 horsepower engine spins their 4 super fat wheels fast enough to keep them skimming across the surface. To understand it better, think of when a car aquaplanes on a very wet road. If there's enough water under the wheels and you're going fast enough, the car loses contact with the road and actually drives on top of the water.
Ah, beach bums. So you've gone something big then. Yesy, Mauer, what is this? So tell me again how it's, because Bobby was saying something to me after he spoke to you earlier about it sort of skid planing over the surface.
That was the plan until it came round the corner.
So he says 70 miles an hour, and he definitely said 70 miles an hour.
17.
Let it be known.
17.
You liar, Murty.
17.
Do you know, I had respect
was
for you
tick.
until you've just said that there now.
So at last the bums have faced up to the obvious fact that their heavy army truck was never going to skim across the water. This means they'll have to rethink their whole design, and it's left expert Murty feeling totally bummed out.
Things are looking up for the doggy Rozzers from Newcastle. Not only have they scavenged the perfect drive axle for the rear wheels of their skinny-wheeled racer, but that huge V12 is finally coming out. The trouble is, they still have the colossal task of building their chassis from scratch. Class clowns the beach bums and their expert Murty are using the existing chassis from an old army truck, a meaty V8 and huge tyres to make a monster swampster. By achieving a speed of 70 miles an hour, they were hoping to skim across the top of the water. But that idea was abandoned when they realised that huge army truck was more likely to do 17 than 70.
Good job. Yeah, I want that. These are the most rubbishiest snips I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'll get you some better.
I've been lucky you better do my nails with him.
The bums will need to do some serious thinking to get back on track.
Their opponents, Woof Justice, are also up against it. They've decided to build their chassis from scratch. It'll hold that massive V12 that will power those row crop tractor wheels.
With tall and skinny wheels, Woof Justice plan to cut through the water.
Having finally released that engine, the Woofs should be starting their build in earnest. But instead, there seems to be a mini power struggle between Captain Simon and expert Richard.
It's quicker, just
Jeff,
a bit of mail.
Could you go up and get the...
Well, who wants us to do what? He wants us to do this. He wants to go out. Just somebody tell us what he wants to do.
Well, I can't go out, can I?
Well, come on, let somebody make the mind
Right,
up.
we're going up and get
All left quiet scavenger Jeff wondering who's in charge.
Thank you. What were you wanting done with this?
I think the reason Simon and Richard haven't been getting, well, not getting on, but a clash of willpower is two headstrong people who know their own mind, like to do the things their own way. And me and Neil are a little bit in the middle, trying to keep the peace.
I think he's doing that. That's the front end of that.
No,
Front end,
please, please, forget that.
Oh, what's that for then?
That's the front, leave that.
all right, okay.
That's the chassis for the back. We
Yeah.
want to put those
Yeah,
on
yeah,
here.
across there,
No,
right
we
at
don't
the
want
end.
to wait for the
If I
chassis.
suggest something, he's like, no, this way. And he's got his own mind. He hasn't really been very open to other ideas. I appreciate he's the expert, but it's our build.
Despite their personality clashes, at least the Woof's design is still watertight.
Across the yard, the bums' design sprung a leak when they realised their vehicle would be too heavy and slow to skim across the swamp. But Captain Andy's got an idea that might throw them a lifeline.
You know, like the front of a bow, a boat.
You want us to get a boat?
That's going to push the water all the way and away from the engine.
Straight a bow
Do you know
way
what I
so
mean?
we can go straight in.
Big
Actually,
bonnet.
there was. A few challenges ago, there was a half a boat here. We're going to have a look.
Yes, you heard right. Simon's off to find the bow of a boat. Now the bums are not driving on top of the water, their monster-sized wheels will create massive amounts of drag. Using a bow of a boat attached to the front will part the waves and lessen the resistance, making them more hydrodynamic as they drive through. And it looks like Simon has already found just the thing.
Now, as I was on my way here just now, I was walking under a very dangerous boat that was being sawn in half, which is apparently to go on the front of the beach bums. A small piece of fiberglass hull.
As if it wasn't big enough already.
It's not going to add a lot of weight.
No, certainly. It's made out of fiberglass,
Yeah.
so that's a good thing. Fundamentally, it's a good idea, because if they can create some lift on the front, it'll help to keep the tyres up out of the water, which is really what they want to do for the front, so it's not trying to bulldoze its way through the lake.
Yeah.
I tell you what, mate, you've redeemed yourself. That's fantastic.
Found a boat.
But, I mean, in terms of favourites, then, you're sticking at the moment with Wolf Justice.
I think Wolf Justice at the moment, they do have a huge build in front of them, and it does kind of depend on how that all fits together, because there really isn't much evidence of that yet. But if that all goes well, fundamentally that design will be quite good, I think.
Trouble is, it's not coming together. The Pooch Policeman's chassis is in 3 separate bits, and their engine is on the hoist. Until they put all that together, wheels and props are just a fantasy.
Ah, my Wolf Justice. How are we all?
Getting there.
I'm not seeing many smiling faces, I have to say. Simon, what is the problem?
It's quite a big build. That's the problem. And it's not me, as Neil was just pointing
I'm
to.
pointing at the
right. I
engine.
thought it was me you were pointing to
the
there.
engine.
I know you said you wanted a big engine, but you're going to need something fairly robust to kind of transport that, aren't you?
Yeah. It's just a basic frame, and we'll just throw it on the top and do what we do. Hopefully it just holds together until we get to the end.
Oh, that's it. Oh, it's good to see a laugh, have you, Simon?
No, that's a nervous laugh, that one. Yeah, that was pure nerves, that one.
Just laughing so you don't cry. Oh, God.
The Woofs may be feeling down.
But next door, with their new miracle cure, the beach bum spirits are high.
Yeah, if it ain't needed, lose it. Rip the wiring loom out the way, get rid of any of the tubes.
They're stripping the army truck chassis to make room for the Camaro's V8. With the bums managing to combine goofing
I love you, Andy. Get off, Andy.
with good hard work, even expert Murty has started to relax. At the moment, the beach bums are so happy. They're lying there's just oil and petrol and bits of car everywhere. They're in a complete mess, and they're really thrilled. They're really excited now because they're just about to get their engine out. They've got their truck chassis. It's got axles. It's got a transfer box. It's got wheels. They're all over the place. Everywhere I walk in the yard, there's one of their wheels because they're so big they can't move them.
But they're quite happy about it.
All of them seem really up now. They seem to have turned some sort of corner. They're very happy. You know, and you can see that once they get that engine in, and all they've got to do is join the engine to the transmission system that's already in the truck.
But next door,
I went and looked. I shouldn't have looked.
they were trying to put a brave face on, which was nice because you can see that Simon's trying to pull his team together. Because essentially they've got to build their whole vehicle from scratch, virtually, in essentially 3 hours. Yeah. You know, that's an awful lot to ask.
Yeah.
In the Bums Build Bay, they're literally singing for joy. A fitting climax as their muscular V8 is deposited onto their monster frame. And this big slice of 70s Americana is committed to the heap to ride another day.
And just like their cars, if the Americans do anything, they do it big. And in the beautiful state of Florida, the locals have always loved hooning their swamp buggies around in large patches of smelly, acrid water. As they grew in popularity, swamp buggy racing was taken up and a new motorsport was born.
Back on the heap, there's been a significant change of atmosphere in the Wolf Justice Build Bay.
It's hot, isn't it?
Expert Richard is looking much happier working with Jeff.
That's it. We'll go in there.
As they mate the transfer box to the V12 gearbox.
Look at that. In?
Oh, we're in.
Outside, Captain Simon is trying to make hubs for their large wheels. And he's even started taking advice from expert Richard.
Oh, we need it in here, don't we? Inside.
Well, this is the driver's side front, and you went right across there like that.
We'll cut it and we'll put it on the inside so we'll get the full weld.
The fruits of their labour start to show as the 3 sections of the chassis come together. Now it's the Woof Justice machine that's really starting to look like one of those Florida swamp racers.
That's absolutely gorgeous, gentlemen.
Gorgeous.
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 Just need a bit cross brace, that's all, because I think that'll bend somewhat.
Bit of twist in it, if you're all right.
Teams, I'm taking no pleasure in telling you this, but you only have 3 hours remaining today. 3 hours build time remaining. I'm sure you can do it.
No mucking around. No, okay.
It's all right.
Well, time for mucking around is over, mate. It's a final. It's important.
Just like Woof Justice, the tables have turned for the bums. Captain Andy has realised they're slipping behind. Monster truck expert Murty is connecting their prop shaft to the Army truck's reduction gearbox.
2 19mm nuts to put on here to put a spanner on. You're a genius.
For 4-wheel drive, they need to attach 2 more props. And they've only managed to scavenge 1, leaving them 1 short.
That is spot on, mate.
Straight on, is it?
We need 1 more, though.
1 more what?
Prop. So I don't think we're going to go 4-wheel drive, because we're lucky getting that prop, so we'll just be lucky to get rear-wheel drive. Get the rear-wheel drive working well. If we get a tiny bit of extra time, great, but I don't think we're going to do it.
All right, mate.
Right, let's get these nuts off, Si.
Only having 2-wheel drive is another massive compromise for the bums. And it's just added insult to injury.
Oh, mate, I didn't get your noggin, did I?
Yeah, you did, it's all right. Nothing in there anyway.
The beach bums, since they've got the big truck stripped down, it's looked like they were ahead, but actually they're still struggling, aren't they? I mean,
They have a bigger challenge with their wheels.
Yes.
Purely because of the size of them and the way to mount them on.
Yeah.
So really, at this stage, it does look like Woof Justice are kind of slightly ahead because their wheels have really come on quite quickly just recently.
So I think it's unusually challenging for you, James, because normally, you know, the judge sort of goes, well, I think I prefer this design to that one, but in this one, it's like, how do you choose?
On balance, Woof Justice probably have it at the moment, I think. Purely because of all the sort of issues with regard to the design, but also because beach bums, unfortunately, haven't got 4-wheel drive yet.
Yeah.
And I think if that is still the case come race day, then they will have quite a severe disadvantage.
It's all looking good for Woof Justice.
Oh, Neil wants the glory of putting the wheel on.
Using hubs welded in the centre of their tractor wheels means they can just simply bolt them on.
A bit more. That's it.
Put it on.
This is the voice of the power lifters. Teams, be afraid, very afraid.
Bring it on!
Bring it on, powerlifters!
Because whoever wins this will be going head-to-head with us in the grand final. And what's more,
teams, you only have 1 hour remaining.
We ain't got no wheels on our wagon yet.
We've got to pull off a real big miracle here.
Unlike their rivals, the bums are struggling. Just getting their wheels into position is a massive challenge.
60 if we can, lads. All the tyre chevrons need to be going forward.
Stop.
Oh my goodness. Beach bums? You've gone big before, but this is massive.
It's huge, Lisa. I had no idea it was going to be this big.
Even just moving one of these wheels.
Oh, it's ridiculous, Lisa. We're having to slide them in bit by bit. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
They're half a ton each.
Just the wheels.
It's not going to be a pond skater anymore.
It's going to be the hippopotamus rather than the water boatman of the race. It's looking great, but it's looking unfinished. I shall see you later on,
Thanks,
guys.
Lisa.
Well done.
Thanks.
There are no such struggles for Woof Justice. They're all but finished and just adding the last few luxury items to their skinny-wheeled racer.
They both look fantastic, don't they? I mean, they just look stupid.
They're both classic mad scraps, aren't they?
Pure mad scrap. No, it's a really good final. Even if they just go into the water and stop, I'll be happy.
Yeah. As long as they just go.
As long as they just go a bit. I just want them to go a bit because they're so bonkers. They really are.
And obviously I want all the teams to get wet because that's just funny in itself.
So slide it like this, then like that.
I don't think they're going to be putting mud guards on, are they?
No time for that.
No.
Putting the wheels on might just take precedence.
Yeah. What a day.
Get ready, Neil. Ready?
So Newcastle's nicest policemen are sitting pretty in their swamp slicer, just finalising their plans for Tinker Time.
Yeah.
It's a very different story with Torquay's daftest beach bums as they battle to get the last of their wheels on. But as a last gasp, they wrestle back a small victory with a test fire.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll pull the bomb.
Yay!
Okay, teams, hold it there. Your 10 hours fill time is up, and work on your super fast swamp races must now end.
Well done, teams. A great build. Well done.
Well, totally massive.
Yeah. Great work, mate. You've worked like a Trojan today, mate.
No problem.
To prevent any catastrophic crashes, our teams will take to the starting line one at a time. On the sound of the horn, they'll race down into the lake and out the other side to the finish. But what might slow them down is this. Murden Silt. The team with the fastest single time wins. Our teams have managed to make 2 monstrous swamp races, but they really have to make the most of Tinker Time as they still have loads to do.
Well, now we're here, James. I think the teams have definitely got their work cut out.
They certainly have.
Because I saw this big lake, and then admittedly we're only using one edge of it, but it's really boggy, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of mud and silt in the bottom. Yeah. It's quite deep water as well.
It's much deeper than I thought, because everybody said, oh, it's only about that deep. But the water's only about that deep, but the silt...
It'll go up a long way on each chassis.
Yeah.
And I think the teams will definitely have a bit of a struggle once they get into it, because the With Justice team have an engine that's quite low slung in the chassis.
When I looked at it, I thought that is lower, isn't it? It is definitely lower than...
It is, and in this environment, I think it could well become quite submerged. So in the Tinker Time, they've had to spend a lot of time trying to waterproof all the electrics.
And what can they do with that? I mean, they were spraying it.
They're actually spraying it with a waxy treatment to try and sort of coat all the connections in wax to stop the water from penetrating each of the joints, because that's really the main problem. They've also raised up the air intakes, so that the air intakes won't suck water in effectively, because that would stop the engine. So they've had quite a big challenge to try and make that engine take this environment.
Just let it go, Si.
We leave it now?
Yeah, you can let it go now, boys.
But the beach bums have actually managed to get four-wheel drive connected up then, so they
have. They managed to fabricate the prop in Tinker Time, bolt it all on, so now they've got full four-wheel drive, which the other team haven't, and that's a major benefit to them.
So, I mean, have you changed your mind at all about your favourite? I mean, now you've seen the course.
Not really. I think my favourite is probably still with Justice, if the engine can keep running.
Yeah.
If the other team happen to have the right gear ratio and they can hit the water at sufficient speed, then they're in with a good shout, definitely. Right. And it could well be a very close race.
It's a tough one to call at the moment, isn't it?
It is.
Tougher still is what might happen if one of these beasts rolls or flips when they hit the water at speed. So, just in case, we've fitted roll cages and air tanks. First to take the plunge into the unknown is Wolf Justice.
Wolf Justice, is it all ready to go?
Yep, as good as it's going to get.
I'm assuming you're still as desperate to win as you were before.
Oh, of course we are. We're going to win.
Proper Geordie confidence. Well, look, boys, do you want to hop up and we'll get going?
Right
Good
on,
luck.
we're away.
As they buckle themselves in, the canine coppers from Newcastle prepare to face 100 metres of water, mud and sludge.
Wolf Justice, go on the sound of the horn in 3, a 2, a 1.
Oh my goodness me!
Get out there!
The Jag
bag's really struggling.
It's still
It's
going.
still going. It's still going.
It's hard to tell when it's the wheels are
No, it's still
turning.
going, yeah.
It's going.
How can an electrically controlled petrol engine operate entirely underwater?
You can hear it really willing it along.
It's going. Come on.
I mean, the back wheels are completely under the water,
They are,
now,
but
they're
they're
still
still turning
getting
well.
crushed because there's just no resistance.
That is fantastic. I am really impressed with that.
What an effort! Woof Justice crossed the swamp in a cracking 54 seconds.
Oh, happy faces. You've got to be pleased with that.
The tyres definitely cut through the...
Yeah, so
muck
the
pretty
choice of having the small ones on the back really worked to their advantage because of the gear ratio. It allowed the engine to keep going effectively.
Right.
If those tyres had been too big, the engine might have bogged down and then
Right.
stopped
And
because
not
it
be
just
able to
didn't have
turn
the
that
torque,
much. Yeah.
certainly. And it
Yeah.
wasn't running quite on full tune, as we heard as it went in.
With a time of 54 seconds to beat, it's the Beach Bums' turn.
Beach Bums, I don't know who's more excited, me or you.
Oh, I don't know if excited's the right word, Lise.
You feeling a bit nervous?
Oh, yeah. I was really nervous when I was watching their run, but I think when I get that engine started and I'm flooring it, I think I'm going to be absolutely terrified, but it'll be great fun.
It's all or nothing.
All
It
or
is the
nothing.
final.
Absolutely.
Boys, may the force be with you.
Thanks,
Good
Lisa.
luck, Beach Bums.
Thanks, Lisa.
No wonder they're nervous. The Beach Bums have just one attempt to beat the 54 seconds. They know this is the moment. They could put the Beach Bum name into the Scrapheap Hall of Fame.
Come on, mate, hey, we can do this, Andy. Come on, son.
OK, Beach Bums, it's time to go for broke, guys. In 3, 2, 1.
Come on!
Come on, Andy, mate. Come on, son.
Look at him go. He's straight in there.
What a splash.
Keep going. Keep going.
Floor it, then.
Floor
Come
it.
on,
Come
Andy.
on.
Come on.
You can do it. Come
Keep
on.
going, lads. Keep going. Keep going. Come on.
All the wheels are really working hard there because they're churning up all the bottom. Just sort of mincing it all up.
Oh, come on.
I mean, obviously the gear ratio actually got pretty well there.
Turn the wheels.
Come on.
That way.
I do think they're doing it faster.
They really are doing very well.
That way. Come on.
Yes, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, come on.
It really is going for it.
Come on. Come on. You can do it.
Go on.
Come on.
Go on.
Come on.
That is a remarkable run.
It really is.
Come on.
Come on.
And he made it. That is extraordinary.
The Bums are delighted to make it. And their run looked fast, but have they done enough?
It's been an amazing 2 races of aquatic fun. Both teams have triumphed. But who's got the fastest time?
Well, teams, what a classic Scrapheap Challenge final that was.
Brilliant,
And obviously the worst bit of this is the fact that somebody has to win and somebody has to come second. But what I will say is it was really, really incredibly close, down to just
3 seconds. 3 seconds between you.
3 seconds.
Can you believe it?
So go on, Bobby, put us out of our misery.
The winners of Scrapheap Challenge 2006 are... Woof Justice!
So it's the end of the road for the Beach Bums. The clown princes of the heap have lit up this year's competition with their own brand of comedy and chaos, but they have managed to build some mighty impressive machines and never given anything other than 100%. But today, their best efforts just weren't good enough.
The top honours go to Woof Justice. The Geordie policemen were at the top of their game this week and are worthy Scrapheap champions.
And do not forget to join us again next week when Woof Justice will face the mighty powerlifters to battle it out for the Rings of Steel trophy. We'll see you then.
Oh yes, they'll be literally bringing the house down when they build gargantuan bulldozing machines.